Hey guys, let's get you up here. I invite you guys to speak. So get this, I can't host spaces on any of my Androids right now, so I don't know what to tell you guys, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I'm on my computer, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay.
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, and that means I can't play any music. I was gonna play Little Bubble. Let me play it. Tell me if you could hear it or not. Coming through?
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, it's a directional mic. That's why. All right. Yeah, let's just give it a few more minutes. There's the EAC. And let's go around and ask how everybody's week is. And then I got a phone call that this guy calls me like right when I told him not to call me. Anyway, I have a buddy coming to town. So let me get this while Hermit, you tell us how your week's going.
Oh man, it's been a hot week. Hot every single day. It is summer, so that's to be expected, I guess. I just don't like the heat. It makes me tired at the end of every single day. Other than that, crypto has been doing okay. I think I'm expecting an airdrop this week. Should be decent. Should be pretty darn good actually. So we'll find out not necessarily tomorrow, maybe Thursday. Kind of depends. Depends on a few things. I'll get it all sorted. And I got back into doing some trading again. Um, Sometimes I don't hold my trades very long, or long enough. So, but I held my trade long enough today. I got put in a long this morning. It was on a retrace and retraced a little bit more from my entry, but then it had a yeah, it ended up working out pretty well for me on that one. Let me see if I can pull up. I don't know what it actually did the rest of the day in terms of charts. So let me look real quick. I'm just looking at Bitcoin. Oh yeah, so I would have been even. I think I'd have been even better. Or no, wait, yeah, maybe not. Never mind. I right when I should have hit it, so we're good. Um, and then let's see what else. Airdrop trading. We're still bouncing around, so I don't know, dude. Trump's doing Trump things. Um, some stuff I'm just like it's kind of retarded. Like I was just thinking about the Canadian wildfire stuff. I was just like, I don't think he quite understands where exactly some of these fires are. Um, and I just talked about it on my stream or my space in the morning before, where it was just like wildfires every summer. The air quality sucks sometimes, and it clears out eventually. But and the thing is, it always ends up being forest mismanagement, and pretty much every state has forest mismanagement to an extent, and it kind of depends, where these fires start. Sometimes it's not like they start right next to a road. Sometimes they obviously they do, but yeah, and some of the fires in Canada, I looked at a map. Somebody showed a map, and I was just like, dude, that's like freaking way up north where there probably aren't a ton of roads, and it's not easily accessible. And I remember I went years ago. I went fishing up there, north, and I say it was northern. Dude, it might have been. It was halfway in Saskatchewan. Like I don't think it was even the farthest north you could get. It was on the Churchill River at that point. But yeah, I remember like getting off the boat one time. We were some whatever, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom or go explore." And dude, I got I didn't get very far, and I was just like, "My gosh." First of all, the mosquitoes sucked. Second of all, there was nowhere to walk. Like, it's just a lot of undergrowth and all that other stuff, but again, it comes down to it's not like you can cut all that crap down. It's like it's a lot. So, and I just made me think about, like, all the trappers and all that stuff back in the day who or even just the Native Americans or native I don't know what they call them in Canada, the indigenous or whatever, how they would just like, dude, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it was probably years and years and years, and they all just walk the same path. And yeah, you go off path. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. You're gonna run into some shit that you don't want to run into. But anyways, that's my thoughts. EAC, how are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I spent the week like building, so got some really great things that I cooked up, like buybacks and burns and new mint incentives. So just building in this bear, and yeah, just like we're kind of in the like neutral zone, so I don't do much when we're close. I don't buy and I don't sell in that kind of that fear and greed index when we're like almost in the middle. I just sit on the sidelines and watch. But I'm looking forward to like what you guys got to say about what's happening. Is the clarity path gonna pass, or is it a pump fake? Um, on the forest fire subject, since I am Canadian, yeah, we have a lot of forests here that that you just don't get to, man. It's not about getting some loggers up there. That's probably one of the craziest jobs that you can have in Canada is cutting down these huge ass trees. But they're up on the side of a mountain sometime, and if I could speak directly to Donald Trump, I'd just say, why don't you just, send some people to help us fight forest fires? Because that's what you would do with your closest ally and neighbor. That's certainly what we would do if your country was burning. So, yeah, not tariff you guys. That's kind of, pretty crazy.
I agree. I'll agree with you. When I saw that, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, dude!" I'm like, "Come on, like, dude, like, God, it's like the shit's gonna clear out in like 2 seconds." And I say 2 seconds, it's gonna clear out. It's not like it's the end of the world. And I know people are like, "Oh, air quality is really bad." And it's like, yeah, it's probably bad regardless. You're in the city, so I don't know, dude. Like when I saw that, I was just like, dude. I was like, there's so many other things you could just be doing, but I don't know, dude. I was not.
It's kind of really bad propaganda, and it's kind of viral because like I've heard actual Americans say, "Oh, just tell Canada to stop polluting our air." Bro, I don't think we want our fucking forests to be on fire either.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're doing the best that we can because yeah, no one. We actually have people that have to like evacuate their homes and their homes get fucking burnt down. So yeah, it's not like we're running around roasting hot dogs on it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I met somebody today. Um, he said his house burned down. When he's like I drove he's like I drove here 3 hours because I was looking to get a car or something like that, and for somebody else for like a family member, and he's like my house burnt down. This is done. You know, he just seemed super distressed and like I get it's the whole thing is it's like, dude, again, it comes down to these fires happen, and again, they're not easily accessible. You can't just, like I said, drive up to it and put it out. Like it's just not how this shit works. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. Maybe we could just here's what we'll do, and this is obviously a joke. We'll just shoot some missiles at it or something and blow up the whole thing, and that'll put it out. Hopefully, we can just put so much dust in the air.
That's what you kind of actually got to do.
Yeah,
So like you got to get water bombers and
yeah,
drop water on it. So if all your planes weren't dropping bombs on Iran, you could probably drop some water on Canada.
Just get some big ass water balloons and just pop them out. Boop, boop, boop. That'd be pretty funny. I could just see it now. Anyways, Ming, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Hamlet. Thank you. I heard you talk about the fire. Actually, I think we got the fire at America last year and a couple of years before Australia as well. I think it's all natural happening. It's a hot weather. Definitely, it will be the fires everywhere. So that's happening. That's natural. But you gotta understand this. Your president will use anything to change the game. I don't know what he's moving, but it is funny. He will use it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not busy trading, but I would be disappointed with Argentina lose the game. But I will talk to Tex later about that. But don't be
It's
sad.
all right, dude. I'm disappointed.
It's all right.
Well, it's so hard because everybody's a fucking Spanish fan now. All of a sudden, Carib's out the World Cup. The timeline was silent until fucking Spain won. And then all of a sudden, fucking everybody's a Spain fan and hates Argentina for some reason. Anyway,
you know, one thing I want to say, Tex. I did watch the game, and I think Spain win is 100% is okay because they play well.
Yeah,
honestly,
they have good ball control, and I've always said that. And you know, the fact is, it wore the Argentinians down, bro. They had a bunch of injuries. Lautaro Martinez, they didn't play him. He scored a goal last season. The coach, for whatever reason, decided not to play him. They left Enzo Fernandez in after he got a yellow card, which sucked. And everybody says Argentina was being brutal. So was Spain. They're going for the World Cup. Anybody knows the World Cup knows that's how they get. Look at the Argentina-Germany game. Germany, 2 World Cups ago, Germany knocked Argentina out, and I was complaining about Germany. So I get it.
Yeah. But anyway, they deserve to win anyway. But one thing I want to say, because too many outside the playground things, politics things, I feel it. I know even China team like before. If you guys, the players, holding too much pressure about the game like soccer, it's hard because everyone like a fight. It's not entertaining. That's why Argentina. I think the players have too much on the back. You know, it's not easy for these peoples, and especially for Spain working like a team, real team, and do block the Messi. That's the things happening. So I agree. I'm happy with the result. I'm not very happy with the lose, but it needs some miracle to win. But Argentina lose and the day, but that's okay. So because the players is having too much, you know, it's not like a country was country, history was history. They hanging too much on the back. It's not easy. That's why.
The funny thing is, Ming, like if you look at it, like Argentina and England played, they fought over the Falkland War, right, or the Falkland Islands, and then Argentina won their independence from Spain. So it's just, and then Spain played France, who they hated each other for the longest time. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. I'm just glad Argentina beat England, and I'm glad England kicked France's ass, dude. So, it was a great World Cup. I think Argentina has, got the clout they needed. It's just they're now under investigation for bad sportsmanship, and I get it. They shouldn't have acted the way they did, but man, Argentinians are a bunch of Spanish Italians that are just proud. And dude, I can't believe it. Like I saw Spain. Like one play was there's an Argentinian throwing the ball in. Right before he threw the ball in, this Spaniard guy knocked down one of the Argentinian players. It was like it happened on both sides. It's crazy. But anyway, Ming, I'm glad you're here, dude.
Yeah, thank you, Tex. Anyway, believe me, they want to make a history. If they win this time in 2 in a row, it will make the soccer the World Cup history. But they need a miracle. That's why I agree. I won't bet too hard with Argentina win. Yeah, you see everything. And yeah, that's the game. That's the soccer. They finish. Now you talk about the crypto, everything, the bear market. I think it is the best time to build something. I'm okay. I'm still busy working, make money, and build something. That's the best time for everybody to the quiet time. So you will be show up if you guys still building something. Easy to find out real community, real project. That's what I want to talk here before you talk your stuff. Yeah, nothing else. Thanks, Tex. I'll rest up. Back to you.
All right, Ming. We got Drew and Pondering Goat. Dude, I haven't seen Pondering Goat in a minute. Whichever one of you guys, how's your week? Okay. You guys both have your hands up. I guess we're doing Lavanda hand up time.
I was referring to the goat. I mean, he's the goat. He's the first.
Beauty before age, Drew. So you can start.
I had a question for the hosts. Well, I guess first, GM friends, Drew Roberts reporting live from the swamp to the designated DEGENS space. Thanks for having me. Text change. What do you think about the Robinhood L2?
Well, the Robinhood,
oh man, Tex doesn't like it.
No, dude. The Robinhood, look, it's great for Arbitrum. Arbitrum gets a 10% royalty for every transaction made on Robinhood layer 2. They should be a layer 3, right? So look, they paid 10% royalty to be a layer 2. Cool for them, bro. But now you're paying Arbitrum till infinitum 10% royalty. My buddy Andy made a good point. He's all like, dude, I guess they learned from Kevin O'Leary about royalties, Mr. Wonderful on the Shark Tank. So good. I'm happy about Arbitrum. Robinhood, let the money. I take EAC's take on this. I'll refer to EAC on this because he says that's more money in the crypto market cap. So I got to give it to him on that. So I'm excited for that.
And if you look at what it's doing, it's causing like good competition. You see that pump actually like increased their liquidity to market cap. So I think the part of the reason is because they're like, oh, we got some other like dog in town. Not that Robinhood is mass launching memes, but all the launchers that just dropped on Robinhood are. So I think competition is good. It's bringing value to these Web3 streets.
Yeah, dude. So there you go. Pondering Goat, what's up with you, man?
I got a really old vintage money clip today, and I started to think how long I might get use of it.
Yeah, well, cash is king, brother. So yeah, dude, I hope you're stacking more than just dollars or paper money. Hopefully you're stacking some sats. That's what we hear tonight, dude. Because one of my influencers that I do listen to and respect is Dr. Profit. I've gone different ways on his analysis. I'm usually like ahead of him a little bit, but he has a strong following. So it's he needs to make sure he has the call right before he calls it. I put it in, I don't know, Hermit, can you why aren't you co-host? I'll send you a co-host. But can you put that up in the nest? Hopefully you guys got a chance. I posted on the first space link or whatever. Unfortunately, like Android is fucking retarded now. I have to do this show on the fucking computer. But anyways, Dr. Profit, dude, he's starting to say like the bears, the timeline's extremely bearish. And because of that, these market makers basically are gonna fucking bring it, the price of Bitcoin up and wreck all the shorts. So right now, I've been on a long, believe it or not, for over like 50 days. I posted that as well, and I'm like at 150% profit, dude. I with 20x leverage. It's probably gonna go to bait. I have another take profit. I'm not closing this trade. I'm gonna try to keep this trade open till like fucking, I don't know, maybe the 80s, 90s. I don't think we'll get to 100, but there you go. It's in the nest. Look that shit over, bro. But basically, the TLDR is that because all these bears, we're going to start to see a possible bull action, dude. So, anyways, what do you guys think about this?
I just wanted to say that cash is trash. Digital dollars rule all. Move all money on chain. Push and P for payments. That's what Polygon is doing with the open money stack. They're moving all money on chain. So it was a really bad purchase, Pondering Goat. I hope that it stays empty for you, and get a digital device and stack your money in digital dollars on that device.
Remember, people used to worship the bull, the brazen bull.
Yeah, they're not worshiping the bull right now, dude. Everybody's scared. They're scared about, look, they're scared about Iran, the price of oil, inflation, the midterms. We've known fear mongering, even before COVID. Okay. So the fact is, if you read this article, we're actually bullish on a couple fundamentals, the Clarity Act, and we'll talk about whether it'll pass or not. And some of the other fundamentals that is really strong. And he also said, he's still shorting the stock market because he feels like that hasn't corrected yet. So he's saying the correction for Bitcoin and cryptos pretty much over because of all the bearish nature. And when I was in business school, someone asked me like about Jim Cramer. This was like 13 years ago. And I said, I listen to Cramer because I like to do the opposite. By the way, Cramer's all over the timeline lately. And that was the inverse Cramer came out. Dude, I was doing inverse Cramer before it was even cool. So I always knew I'd do the opposite. And one of the examples I did when I was day trading stocks is like say if there's a mass shooting. This is a sin stock, so don't fucking hate me for it, but it's to how I made money. So if there was a mass shooting, right? Smith and Wesson, a bunch of other freaking, gun stocks, they're going to drop like a fucking lead balloon, dude. And so when they drop, I fucking buy up the bottoms. I buy up those dips because guess what happens if there's a mass shooting? Everybody thinks, oh, nobody's going to, the government's going to fucking regulate guns and, nobody's going to buy. No, quite the opposite. Everybody's afraid the government's going to regulate guns, so they have to go out right now and buy guns. And so their next quarterly report is freaking through the roof, unexpected, blah, blah, blah. And the government never is going to fucking ban guns, right? And la-di-da-di, I got fucking Smith & Wesson or whatever gun stock at a great price, So I always learned how to trade the opposite, right? You got it. That's secret in trading is you have to figure out what other people are not because it is player versus player in that case, right? So right now I'm playing against all the other Bitcoin bears right now, and I'm fucking winning. What's up? You guys have questions? You guys see the hands up.
Do you think the entire market is dictated by the emotions of like a few people, maybe even like just a handful?
No, quite the opposite. What I'm saying is the entire market is controlled by the people with money, smart money, right? And that's what you see in 2022. That's what I've been waiting. I still don't think there's a Bitcoin bottom yet, right? Like I don't think it's quite there. In fact, after it liquidates these bears at 68,000, I'm going to wait and hold. Like I said, I'm going to take a little bit of profit and I'm going to see if they're going to go lower down to that 60K and test that floor again. If that floor holds, fuck, game on again. Dude, we may not see a 55 or a 50 or a 45. Definitely, I don't even think we'll see a 45 at this point. That's what the point is, all these bears are ruining it, because every time a bear creates a short, it makes liquidation of the top side, and these market makers want to liquidate. They want a liquidation escalade. So that's what's happening on the timeline or on the charts. On the timeline, that people are just fucking scared, and they shouldn't be. Like I said, the Clarity Act, whether it's going to pass or not. Now, of course, if the Clarity Act doesn't pass and they go on a recess, maybe we got trouble. But Trump's too busy trying to get the Save America Act passed, right? So we'll see.
That's definitely not going to pass. And I actually think that the Clarity one will.
If they got rid of the filibuster.
And also, like, I think there's starting to be like the stock market and crypto are like are not following each other anymore. I think that I think a lot of people left crypto to chase AI stocks, and now that AI stocks are going down, they're coming back to crypto.
Yeah, and it used to be this: when the stock goes up, Bitcoin would go, or crypto would go up, right? Yes, we've been fucking complaining a lot. I've seen it on the timeline. People are complaining, well, why is the stock market at all-time highs and we're still fucking, because it disconnected. And what Dr. Profit says, the 4-year cycle is still there. We're just on 2 different paths at this point. And by the way, that 4-year business cycle, it's based on an index that is actually elongated to 5 years this time around. So we haven't seen any cuts to the Fed. So we haven't seen money printing yet, right? So if we go to war with Iran, this is good for Bitcoin, because it does not, it's a hedge against chaos, right? And then they're going to have to print money to pay their war coffers, right? And when they print money, people buy crypto because they are devaluating the stable coin. So EAC, to your response about, stable coins are better than dollars, I think, Bitcoin's better than all those, right? I agree. Like, it was funny because Andy, our Blockcast, they made a post that said, not your keys, not your crypto, agree or disagree. And I said, agree, except unless you're holding a stable coin, because as you know, governments, especially the United States government, can actually lock those down. They can call up Tether, and they've done it with Iran's stable coins or whatever, and lock them out, right? So not your keys, not your crypto only applies if you're not holding a stable coin that can be locked. What's up, EAC?
Hey,
or if you have your BTC in an exchange.
Yeah,
basically the same
right.
thing.
Obviously.
Hey, you guys are all smart men. Like, if the digital economy and like currency, be it stablecoin or Bitcoin, takes off, and by and large, will they have like an equivalent, like physical Bitcoin, like paper equivalent for my money clip, or say for people that may find themselves without battery to their device and be in need to exchange value? Like, what's the scenario?
On the money clip, get gold back dollars, dude. Like those little golden dollars, dude, made out of gold. But no, I mean, the thing is, I've been saying for quite a while that, and this is before all this, like years ago, I've been saying that, they're going to create a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. Well, now that the other countries are still doing this, by the way. South Korea just started their own CBDC. They are making it like illegal, like $7,000 if you do a unapproved fund trade. So they fine you $7,000. And then Brazil has a CBDC. Obviously, Nigeria has a CBDC. The Bank of International Settlements, the bank of all central banks, have talked about CBDCs being a third liability. So that's how they do the Great Reset. They take a bunch of that owed debt and then they put it in back behind the CBDC. That's how. I
guess what I'm getting at, is there a physical backup to like the digital money and wealth that is like, the idea of my digital wealth is in like a digital world, but if I want to.
RWA, and the only true RWA is a stable coin. And like I said, why would you want to have a stable coin crypto when they can lock it from you, right? I doubt that. Rarely that would happen, but say it would. You don't have complete freedom. And so, RWAs, they're still new. But I said the only RWA is really a stable coin. So it's kind of like this conundrum. But yeah, dude, I use stable coins in order to leverage trade with, right? And I do a leverage trade mostly on a centralized exchange. So yeah, those not my keys, not my crypto, but it's also stable coins that they can lock anyway. So, you know,
will those stable coins be individually like numbered? Like, so they'll be recognized? I mean, so like I could have a physical equivalent.
Maybe, but yeah, that's what, no, but that's the thing. They don't want one-to-one. The banks and the government, they want Tether and all these other stablecoin companies to buy short-term treasury bonds, to buy our debt. The dollar's backed by our debt, and so will the dollar backs, the stable coins backed by the dollar is going to be debt times 2, you know? But, you know, one thing that Tim Scott, the senator from South Carolina, said, and it was so funny. He says, you know, stable coins are different than dollars in the bank. He says, dollars in the bank are fractionalized. Stable coins are one-to-one. But what he fails is another Freudian slip by our government by telling us that your dollar in the bank is only a fractional. That's why you only get a fraction of a percentage, you know, of interest in like a savings account, because your dollar is not backed. The bank only has to keep 10% in the vault. And if you don't know, during COVID, the banks were told by the United States Central Bank that they don't even need to have 10%. So some banks literally have no backing at all. And that's why you see.
I feel really stupid right now, but what's Bitcoin backed by?
Consensus.
So an idea, perceived idea.
But it's different. It's decentralized.
Well, and multiple liquidity pools that are backed with multiple different things, which is ultimately the dollar.
Satoshi Nakamoto said on a forum, he says, if you don't get it by now, I don't have time to explain it to you. So like, you know, Pondering Goat, I love you, man, but you can make the counter argument that Bitcoin's not backed by anything, but it's backed by lots of proof of work, a lot of consensus. It's been around, you know.
Like, hey, I'm not looking for a challenge. I'm asking a reasonable question.
No, and you're not stupid for saying that. That's most of the people that they're, dude, only like what? Very like 2% of the population have Bitcoin. So no, dude, 98% of the people are like, believe like you do. But when I'm looking at what Bitcoin can do, the technology behind it, the fact that it's, you know why Republicans are, for the most part, even Democrats, join the Standby Crypto campaign if you're American. Coinbase is doing that, where it literally lists all the politicians that support crypto and the ones that are against it. But the point is, the ones that are for it know that they know that their government has been printing too many dollars, like COVID. They've been knowing this for quite a while, and you know they need, like when it was backed by gold, at least gold kept like some type of accountability with money printing. Now that that's gone, and then COVID and all these other things happen, like multiple wars, they've just printed at infinitum. So there's nothing stopping them from printing more money, and everybody knows that.
Yes,
so
Tex.
Just to rebut that, so what you're basically saying is the idea, the belief in the idea is actually the RWA. So
yes and no, but it's more than that. Let's go to Ming. What's up, Ming?
Not much. I just agree with you. This bull run or this cycle is different because, you know, back to 2008, the BTC come out. You're right. We all the cycle come with American, you know, the policy of the money, you know, printing. 2008, you know what's happening. 2020, you know what's happening. They print the money. The interest rate it drop. But this cycle, the interest rate doesn't drop. They're still holding there, and even if we want to lift. So how can we get the bull run? It is hard. So we got small things. We have to agree with the big things. Digital, whatever, crypto at this moment is a low market cap. But the funny thing, I don't know, Tex, you know that I find out that heard one thing like you know, your Wall Street market 2025, the volume of all trading is 20 trillion. But how do you know? Just one Binance, they got how much trading volume? They are 17 trillion plus 7 trillion is 27 plus 7, 34 trillion, $3 trillion more than Wall Street. Even just one Binance. We don't count if Coinbase, OKX,
That's a
anything
lot
else.
of degenerates, man.
Lots of money. Imagine just 1 point something trillion market cap. They make up too many volumes there. What I can understand is like stock market is an investment market. Is they don't support you to gambling, but crypto or this market is lots of people. I don't want to say it's gambling. They want to make money and more active, more trading, like you guys here trading. Don't like you buy SPX, you buy whatever the big Apple stock you're holding there. But here, people talk about trading, want to find something real.
If you want to really trip out, go to CoinMarketCap, right? Sort by 24-hour volume, and you'll see Tether #1 volume, right? The market cap is 184 billion. However, 60 billion of volume in just one day. It's done a third of its market cap in one day, guys. So you can look at Bitcoin as next, 30 billion of Bitcoin moved in one day. Yes, it's 1.33 trillion, right? But dude, it's and the crazy part is most of Bitcoin, 70% of Bitcoin is either in a vault or does not move, right? So I actually think it's less than that. If you look at how much Bitcoin the centralized exchanges have, thank God Binance has enough to back it, but some of the exchanges don't. So be careful, because that's why we got to move your Bitcoin off the centralized exchange, because they may not have that Bitcoin to back it. Learn what SBF did with FTX, right? Is that he didn't have the money to back it. He was using it to trade on. Yeah, they got Merkle trees and all this other proof of reserve crap. But dude, I still trust my Bitcoin in a non-custodial wallet, because the Bitcoin is getting less and less in the centralized exchanges, right? So that 30 billion of volume that Bitcoin did is with the very little Bitcoin that's in centralized exchanges mostly, right? So it's nuts, guys. Nuts. Did I make the point, Ming? Yeah, well, that's pretty much it, dude. I really wanted to cover what Dr. Prophet says, so definitely read that, follow him, retweet it, get the word out to your friends and DEGENS. We may see, a change in this bear market. Okay. Now, of course, I don't want to call the bear market over until I see the volume return and smart money comes in back in 2022. I'm still going to hold by that, right? But you can take advantage of these trades, and week to week, I give you an update. So next week, I'll probably talk about what happened, where we're at now. Last week, I talked about this decision zone, right? That we're in a decision zone. We're trading sideways. I have a bot, a grid bot that's literally shorting the market. It's at 6% now because Bitcoin's has gone up. I'm not worried about it. It's basically made its own money. And when Bitcoin cracks, I'll probably close that out and switch that bot to a long bot when I feel like we have a localized bottom. What's up, Ponder and Go? You want to argue?
I'm going to ask you a question. Don't feel defensive, or you have to answer the question, but really just think about it.
That's an argument terminology. So
no, it's just, okay. Apologies.
I know you. I'm just glad you're here. What's up?
Yeah, man, I'd never argue with you, Tex. With a lot of respect. I got a question for you, right? If all of the Bitcoin in existence could be returned to the source, including all of the Bitcoin that was burnt, if it were unburnt and returned to the source, and every single Bitcoin returned to the start, would we see the induced liquidity value to Bitcoin? Like the actual, because those that have ever created a coin or something realize that it's all just, you make up the value of what you do by the way in which you pair it to something else, an idea or a currency or whatever you want. But my question is, if everything was sold back to the source and unburnt and taken back to the source, what would Bitcoin's value be then? Would it be equal to the liquidity that was first introduced?
No. Okay, so liquidity pools, and this you got to know this when it comes to like your meme coins or stuff that doesn't have a bunch of liquidity backed by it. The price doesn't mean it's not, you know, total what is total fucking TDR, um, total value, no, fully diluted value. There it is. So the fully diluted value of Bitcoin is 1.39 trillion, right? It doesn't mean there's 1.39 trillion of USDT just sitting there. If that, you know, but at the same time, when they run out of liquidity or trading pairs of Bitcoin, the price is not going to be zero. Okay, I guarantee it's not. Right? It's going to be fixed at a higher value because there's not enough trading pairs. Right? So, you know, that's the crazy part. But yeah, dude, you know, the point is, and I think this is what Michael Seller is made, is that, you know, Bitcoin's real money now. You know, look up the definition of money, Ponder and Go. Like, if you want to get in an argument, look up the definition of money, and by pure definition, Bitcoin checks all those boxes. So,
I mean,
look,
remember
try
this.
to do that with a dollar.
Remember that birds
right?
used to steal shiny things so they could get a mate.
Sure. But look, do that with the dollar, right? The dollar has been debased 98% since its creation, right? So if you did that with a dollar, you'd only have 2% of value left, right? So I would say Bitcoin, you know, if you check all those same boxes, Bitcoin's probably worth more than the dollar, even if you paired it at the current price 1-to-1 right now, you know? So anyway, look, I love Bitcoin for its decentralization, its custodial properties, right? It's scarcity. You know, it just checks all the boxes. Doesn't mean I don't invest in gold and real estate and silver and all that other shit. I got that too, but I need something that's going to be bullish for the future, right? And Bitcoin's that, hands down. And even if you're not bullish on Bitcoin right now, wait 4 years. Right? That's a very relatively small time to wait when you consider gold has been around how long, and the dollar's been around, right? Bitcoin's only been around a decade, a little more, right? And so,
Tex, what if, because it's all backed by an idea, what if a better idea comes along and everyone just throws their money behind the new idea?
We want good ideas. Bitcoin's network is slow, but Bitcoin has proven itself a storage of value. That's never going to change, right? And even if it did, right, I hope you're locked in it to get that new thing, right? That new shiny thing. And I bet you could trade Bitcoin for it. So either way, dude, like us hodlers, us designated DEGENS, we're doing the right thing. And if at any point, and a lot of people have already capitulated after October 10th, they sold hopefully, and maybe even before there, because I did stable up like in August before October, that you can get out at any time. Go back to your fiat.
What's the recognizing body that realizes a sovereign country's currency system? Is there documented evidence of them introducing the Bitcoin currency into the known currency system, other than the hype of the users that hold it?
There's the International Monetary Fund, right? There's the Bank of International Settlements. There's the World Bank, right? All of them recognize Bitcoin. You know, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I
mean, is it something I can jump onto the Forex markets now, like, and trade another country's currency? Because I could just jump in and like say trade like your currency right now if I wanted to. Can I jump in and trade the sovereign state of Bitcoin's currency?
I wish there was a fiat backed by Bitcoin, but it doesn't work that way, Ponder and Go.
I know this.
It might be one day if, you know, the United States wants to make it
they're working on it.
Reserve.
Yeah, that's what the Clarity Act is.
Absolutely. You know, China, Russia, the big players all have their central banks are all holding Bitcoin as well as gold, right? It was funny, the European Union, they're like, none of our central banks will ever hold Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. And then once, like, I forget which country it was like Czechoslovakia or Serbia or something, their central bank did. And they're like, well, all of them except that guy. It's like, it's eventually going to happen, bro.
And so they would treat it like akin to, say, paper gold.
Well, it's
like gold that's not really in existence
fiat
for them.
Okay, what? Pondering, do you know what fiat's backed by? Like,
yeah, everything is made up. It's just ideas, man. That's what I'm trying to get at.
No, it's not. Look, if you gotta study Keynesian economics, do it. But basically, that's a supply side economics, more supply side than Austrian economics that uses demand side. So the point is, the dollar, okay, is the equivalent of our national income, our GDP, minus our national debt. That's basically what our dollar is. Now, if you take GDP and calculate it, it's consumer spending, government assets, public and private investments, exports minus imports. That's how you calculate GDP, right? And because I gave you that, look what Trump is doing. He's increasing consumer spending. He wants to make things cheaper for everybody. He's definitely at the infrastructure bill and building the military, government assets. He's encouraging all these countries to invest in the United States, both public and private. And then he has a reciprocal trade tariffs that has already reduced our trade deficit by 70%. They use that same reciprocal trade tariff tactic during the last Great Depression, the Reciprocal Trade Tariff Act of 1934. It's all making sense. Trump is creating a stronger dollar. The Genius Act, it makes stablecoin companies to buy treasury bonds. Another way to secure the dollar behind the debt. It's all there for a reason, man.
Yeah, but a treasury bond's not just like the concept that the government will endure. Is that not what bonds are, government bonds, that the government will endure? And so you're buying into the promissory of that and the return thereof?
Why do they do that? Why do they sell treasury bonds?
I mean, it's everything we've known, but I mean, like, who knows
what? It's an important question. Why does the government sell treasury bonds?
Well, they need to get more money than the tax. They need
Why don't
more.
they just print more money?
Well, because it has perceived lesser value to the citizens of the nation that people do that.
Sure, but they still print money. So then, but why would they not? The question is, why do they have treasury bonds? Does anybody know? Can anybody answer this?
Why do they do that?
Yeah, why does the government sell treasury bonds?
You're buying, like, it's their debt. You're buying their debt.
Exactly.
It's to pay. You're close. It's to pay for their spending above what they take in from taxes. So for dollar by dollar, dude. And then for whatever they don't raise through treasury bonds, then they print the money to make up for it. The president of El Salvador, like, actually, he did this really cool fucking presentation about how the United States central bank and treasury works. And he's all like, dude, he loves it. And the funny thing is, El Salvador, when they legalized Bitcoin, they also legalized the US dollar too, because other countries still look at the dollar as stable, compared to their own currency. So it's all part of this, what we call Keynesian economics, if you're an economics person, a macro guy. What's up, Nick? I'm glad to see you on stage. How's your Bitcoin mining going?
Oh, it's a small mining outfit, but I was going to use El Salvador to answer the question. That is one country that does use Bitcoin as a currency, and Bitcoin is marked. There's a designated certain limit amount, so that's actually 20 million that are designated, that are marked, digitally marked. as cash, as currency. So that makes it.
So it's not a ledger. It's like, so Solana is a ledger. There's a that blockchain will total the amount of Solana out there. Bitcoin's different.
Is there physical representation of that in El Salvador, like an actual physical thing? Have they done that?
Yeah, they've been using Bitcoin for at least 7 years.
Yeah, they have an app. It's not like you get a Bitcoin dollar, dude. It's on an app. But dude, nobody uses dollars anymore. They use Visas and MasterCards. It's not any different.
So you're telling me I shouldn't have bought that money clip?
Bro, dude, I keep saying cash is king because I still carry cash on me, dude. Because I don't want like any, like if I need to buy something, you know what I mean? I
don't need to buy something on the street, right?
On the street,
I mean, like you say, I just
you don't need that, man. It's gonna have privacy soon. The digital dollar will be private.
Let's hope so. EAC.
Yeah, the Bitcoin.
No, like they already have it. Like with the stocks, like some of the the stocks that are coming online, like they're going to be able to freeze it and have it private and everything, on their centralized networks, and they'll do the same with cash. Like Ethereum already said that it's in their roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, how private we don't know, but what's up, Nick?
Right. Who has access to the ledger?
Exactly. Nick, what were you saying?
I was actually thinking about that. Remember back in the day when Bitcoin was first starting back in 2012, the early mid 2000s, whatever it was, we had to use gift cards. Would that still be a thing once the Clarity Act passes?
Dude, that might be it. Like, you know how that when Bitcoin first came out, they did put like the private key on like a scratch coin, and that was like their way of trying to sell Bitcoin because people wanted to see the physical thing. That's why I faded it for the longest time, because I was just, there's no physical thing. Like, I'm the kind of guy that likes to have gold, you know what I mean? So, and guns is worth value. and so beans and bullets. But anyway, point is, yeah, dude, you could put Bitcoin on a gift card. Why freaking not?
Well, that would evade the tax. That way, that's one way. If they freeze all your accounts, then you just go straight to Amazon and just put it straight to Amazon, correct? Just the way you would evade.
What about like if there were like a prolonged like power outage and things like this? Like, how would you use that if that were your only wealth locked in that? For people that don't diversify, perhaps.
It's always on your email address. So as soon as you do find a power source, you got access.
The blockchain does not go away. So then he's gonna say EMPs or fucking, like radiation from the sun, or we have a fucking whatever it's called, dude. There's 1,000 things you could say. What if this? What if that? Right? Well, what if there's nuclear war tomorrow?
I've come to learn something, Tex. I've come to learn
honoring goat
with Bitcoin in particular. If there were perhaps a block that were not able to be solved, it would actually ruin the entire system. And there is actually zero documentation through any forums about what would happen in that event. Just surety that everything's just going to go along smoothly.
Yeah, well, I don't believe in that. I believe in, taking care of your family, your people, you know what I mean? So I don't believe, dude, I never fully trusted the government, and I worked for the government when I was in the Army for 20 years. So it's just the way it is, dude. I think our representative, congressional republic is by far the best government been created. Is there a better form of government out there? Probably, but I haven't seen one lasted 250 years as is, right? And I still think the United States is the best government there is, and I don't like governments. I'm a libertarian, so it is what it is, dude. One thing that I don't want to bring this guy up, but Cobra Tate said, he doesn't even own property because the government can take it. Now he's been extradited to England for charges like 7 years ago, but that's a whole other topic. hey guys, I have a brisket that's going to be ready in like 15 minutes and I have to get it out. Hermit can keep this thing going, but I got a buddy here who is moving to Texas, and I wanted to give, a good Texas welcome with a big ass 5-pound brisket. So I will be eating in about 15 minutes, but we can keep it going. I just won't be here. It's up to you guys. What do you
Hey,
think?
how's Creekcoin going, Hermit?
That is going to be, that's supposed to get an airdrop this week. They have the VC that they're partnering with is doing their final due diligence. Apparently, according to Buddy, one of the founders said that they're looking to get all that stuff signed by this week, next week at the absolute latest. So it's been, I will say this, since the beginning of June, it's been a rough go, only because they had a bunch of their tokens locked up, and then they got unlocked. Streamflow dumped their tokens, like literally all of them. And so I guess when you lock with Streamflow, you're basically giving them a percentage of the tokens that you lock up. Well, they locked up 10 billion, or not 10 billion, 9.97 billion tokens with Streamflow. And so with their percentage, they basically was like, dude, I don't know. It was a lot.
Have they become a majority
Oh
power?
gosh, no. Streamflow, gosh, no, not at all. Because Streamflow literally dumped the second they got the tokens, they dumped every single one, and that it basically looked like a rug. And so at that point, like, I was, because when it happened, somebody was like, "Hey, what happened to the chart?" And then I looked, and dude, I got that sick feeling, and I got the founder, and I was like, "Dude, what the f?" He's like, "Dude," he's like, "It was Streamflow. It's stream." Like, it was Streamflow dumped it, and I just wonder, like, with Streamflow, how many times they've dumped tokens on, because people lock with them, and Streamflow would then dump the tokens, and then it might look like, oh, the founders rugged the token or whatever.
Did they not just read the T and C's? Were Streamflow within
I think
their right to do so?
They did, but the founder was under the impression that he was like, "Are you guys just going to dump it?" And they're like, "Oh no, we're going to, align our whatevers with yours." And they're just like, it's like, "Oh, okay." Well, anyways, again, they dumped it, and then um, they decided to lock their tokens up with Stake Point. Well, Stake Point ends up getting tokens like right off the bat, and then Stake Point dumped tokens. So basically, it looked terrible, but the VC that they're going to sign with, and like I said, hopefully within this week, they'll be able to announce who the VC actually is. And then
so it's kind of like a just clean slate sort of scenario. Is that again?
That's essentially I would say, yeah, more or less. Like, Buddy was on one of my spaces last week. I think it was either Thursday or Friday, and he was just like, they're gonna end up doing a TGE with this VC, and the TGE is basically anybody who holds Creekcoin will be able to just swap for the new token 1-to-1. So, and then they're just basically, that will be the end up being the clean slate, but that's not going to happen for another, I think he said something like 2 to 3 months or something like that. So October, November, maybe December. I guess dude, all of it. It's slow moving at this point. But yeah, their airdrop is happening this week. They're coming out with staking. Pretty much like their staking is supposed to be ready. So you're going to be able to stake your Creekcoin, and you're basically staking it, but you're locking it up for, I think, 3 months. But buddy said the APY was going to be up to like 45%, and so you're staking your Cree coin to get more Cree coin, and then by the time that unlock happens, they should have the TG ready, and then you can basically swap straight in for the new token 1-to-1. Because I asked him about tokenomics. I was like, is it basically going to be the same everything? Like same supply, obviously would have to be if it were swapping 1-to-1, but yeah, it's been a grind, and we've had some massive rough patches overall, but I think we're starting to get to the finish line at this point. So, and like they've got see what else. I'm trying to think of everything that he said. They're gonna.
Well, I hope you weren't too affected, or haven't been too affected by it all, because I know you were in the. I haven't seen you in quite some time. I knew you were quite fond of the concept and championing it.
Yeah. Well, no, I was. I mean, I was. It is what it is. Like it's the nature of crypto.
I mean, no one. That's not in a negative sense. Like that just happens. Like I've had that happen to myself, so I understand exactly what you mean.
Well, I mean, that was so. So the thing is, like, so when Streamflow first dumped, like they basically what they said is that like they were going to make. He said, the founder was just like, hey, we're going to give people tokens, the dollar value that they lost because of Streamflow. So that was a good thing at that point, because I had a good chunk of money put into it, but again, it wasn't like, oh, my life is over type of thing. It delays retirement a couple days or something like that, but it would have been they just said, yeah, we're going to make everybody whole in terms of like dollar amount or whatever. And then that would have been that's on top of the airdrop. And then I ended my wallet got hacked because I made a dumbass mistake. It wasn't a drainer. It wasn't a drainer. My wallet was actually hacked, and that was my fault. So that basically the person ended up selling all of that. So sucked even. That was the one that killed me more than anything else. But I've recovered since then. And,
Yo, man, that's how it happens in crypto when you hit a rough bump, and then it just fucking tries to destroy you. That's why so many people disappear. But if you stuck around for those hard times, bro, well, I know that. Well, you're the hermit.
yeah.
No one's stronger than you.
Dude, sometimes it just snowballs. Well, and the thing is like I'll as crappy as it was when it happened, I was just like, all right, I didn't lose everything. They couldn't get it. They missed stuff. So there was stuff that didn't show on the wallets or anything like that. So I was able to recover things, and, like some stuff, I guess they just decided wasn't worth it or anything. I don't know. But sometimes I was just like, okay, they didn't get everything. Um, and so it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna get what I can, and then I'm just gonna build back up, build back better, or whatever.
Usually, interestingly, usually they go for like the first 2 or 3 keys off a seed. But like if you've got hundreds of keys and you actually store your wealth and like deep down and somewhere in those hundreds, it makes it extremely. It's just another layer of like city, but like also it makes it harder for you to retrieve your funds. But yeah, because that's what happens. The scanners can only like those autos only go like the first handful, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I sat there at like some of the stuff was locked into staking, and so you could unlock it, but then there was that cooldown period. Some had like a cooldown period. Other things like they tried to sell, but then couldn't because of one thing or another. And so it was a process. Like I was for some of it, like I'm still waiting on some other stuff that I'm gonna be able to cash out here eventually. But again, it comes down to there were certain things that they just like it just wasn't showing on any wallet that I had put money into a certain location or something like that. And, I was able to, like, I sat there and I thought about certain things and I'm like, do I leave it or do I leave it or do I, God bless America. Oh, geez. Sorry. Hopefully that turns it off. There was, like a certain thing and I was like, man, do I leave it there? Because I was trying to farm an airdrop on this one wallet. And I was like, no, F it. Like, take it. Because if they get smart enough and are able to figure things out, then, they're just going to take the money from you and you're out of that money anyway. So I lost out on an airdrop. Um, but I was just like, it's either lose out on the airdrop and recover funds or hope that they can't find anything and wait, And so I was just like, screw it, let's take my money out. I'll lose airdrop and call it a day. Because there's no guarantee that the airdrop would have been worth anyways. So, um, yeah, I think sometimes like that type of stuff. Sometimes it snowballs, and it is what it is. But it's like if you just quit, like that's why we always say, keep your stuff safe. And I say, don't keep all your stuff on one thing. As sucky as it might be to not keep all your stuff on one thing, like it's saved me from losing it all essentially. So, um, yeah, don't ever save. Here's lesson for anybody. Never keep any digital copies of any of your wallet seed phrases. And knew that, and I had written everything down, but somewhere I forgot that I still had a digital copy somewhere, and they found it, and that was the end of that chapter. So, um, I yeah, I've I'm slowly getting everything back in order, and like I said, hopefully with this Coin stuff, like this will be the one thing that propels me over to the next level. Essentially, it's crypto, so anything can happen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's gonna happen with all of it. I'm pretty excited, and like I said, with VC for Coin, like pretty sure I don't want to say everybody's heard of them, but they're not like a small player in the space. I'll say that because I know who it is. I just can't. I'm not at liberty to tell anybody who it is. So, so hopefully you guys find out in the next week on who it is. Um, and yeah, we can all make a few extra bucks.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad to hear you're happy about it. That's good.
Yeah. So, anyways, no, I don't know what else. What does there anything else anybody wants to talk about? Well, Tex eats skit. Anything on anybody like my mind for the Clarity Act? I don't think they pass it. I was talking to Block last uh last week, last night, and he was talking about how the banks can drag their feet. Essentially, banks don't want it done because they want to control the flow of the money. And so until they can control the flow of the money, then it's not going to get passed, essentially is what it comes down to. So I think that's the biggest issue is they're trying to get they're going to try and get their own stuff in order before a Clarity Act thing can pass. And that's just because everybody wants to. I think everybody wants to sit there and think, and I could be wrong. You guys can tell me your thoughts here in a second. Everybody goes, "Oh yeah, everybody's going to go through this chain. Everybody's going to go through Ethereum. Everybody's going to go through XRP. Everybody's going to go through Solana. Everybody's going to go through Polygon. Everybody's going to go through whatever." I think it comes down to that these banks are going to just have their own chain. Essentially, I think that's what was it. Open
So,
USD.
they got that now. You can look
Is it?
into it. It's
Is
the Canton network, and
yeah.
you can't buy the token or anything. It's their own that they can shut down and everything. So,
Gotcha.
but like to your point, yeah, they're going to have that because it's a centralized thing which they can shut down and control and track, which, of course they want that. They're the banks. They've been controlling us for God, who knows how long, probably hundreds of years. But it'll still flow through the other things. And like on that point that they want to make sure that they got everything in order, and because they want to control the money flows, like I agree with that. But if other countries get ahead of that and if the Clarity Act is like it's gonna pass now, or it's not gonna be anything for a couple of years, like they kind of have to, like think about, they got to make it happen because they don't want other countries to get, not that like that they really could, because the US dollar is king for sure, but they kind of already have. I mean, like Tether, like is pretty big in the stablecoin department, and they're not the U.S. government, so they do run a risk of people really getting really far ahead. If the UK, they pass stuff, Australia. I just heard Russia passed like crypto laws. China's not a lot for crypto, so when Trump says, "Oh, we got to get crypto passed before China passes it," well, that's doesn't make any sense because I'm pretty sure Ming can attest to it if I'm wrong, but isn't crypto banned in China? So that one's just propaganda. But I think I feel like it still can pass.
I mean, I'm not saying it can't pass. I just don't think it will. I mean, it's just I don't know. They're really good. Our dumb government is really good at passing things that people don't really care about, or people are against overall. But when it comes to things that might make some sort of sense, it's kind of just you know that's what pisses me off the most about our wonderful government is that sometimes they're slow, which is a good thing, but sometimes it's like they're slow with good stuff, but quick with just stupid stuff. Like it's just like there's none of like there's so many they do so many things doesn't make any sense, and I don't know. I mean, it is what it is at this point, but I don't have high hopes. Ming, were you going to say something?
Here's a funny story that I heard. It's not so much related to crypto, but it's kind of might fall along the same lines. Is like, how they were putting restrictions on AI, like like, and the China has the open source ones that you can load on your own computer, and it doesn't have the restrictions. Well, this company was getting hacked by an AI, and they were trying to initiate their like AI to stop the hack, but they kept running into these roadblocks where the AI said, "No, that's you can't be doing that," and they're like, so they had to download the Chinese version um, to like to then stop the hacker of that agent. So like I'm kind of just saying that is like, you know the states is kind of slowing themselves down with these restrictions, and it like if they keep doing that like they are with the Clarity Act, they're gonna get left behind because of these other people that just like go balls to the wall, like get things done and not so slow.
I missed your question, EAC. I'm sorry. I heard you ask China did ban the crypto or not, or is that something like that?
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
like, because like Trump, when I forget his name, who died there, um, he said in the honor of him that we got to get the Crypto Clarity Act passed, because if we don't pass it, China's going to get ahead. And it didn't really occur to me like at that time, but then I thought about it after. I'm like, What are you talking about, man? China they don't have any crypto, like Bitcoin's banned, and you're not allowed to use crypto there. So that didn't, and I just wanted to get your take because
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
from there, right?
yeah. Not. I mean, I can feel something like if we dig in this topic, China did ban publicly, officially, but we back to look at history from 2008 as the Bitcoin invented and all the technology, the platform, the trading, the Binance, OKX, lots of big company, even Japan. China go in the first, so even mining, they dominate the mining at that moment. But why they ban? Because the trading volume back to that day, ICO, I think, they if I'm not wrong, I'm still overseas, but I see the news, the people trading on these stuff because the Chinese yuan is how to say government control, but USDT is more volume at that moment, so they see the dangers and even trading more volumes, not to catch up, but more young people like to trade on the Binance or OKX, whatever back that day, lots of platform. And the Shanghai stock market, Shenzhen stock market lose the volume, lose the trading. That's a problem for the central control government. If I was in there, same thing. So, and they use the USDT, and there's not a official, how to say, Chinese yuan is not open to USDT publicly, officially. So it's all under control. So it's lose the money, lose the profit, and lose the investment from Chinese people. So back to that. So until now, they ban. I think it's decentralized, and they want to control the yuan, the Chinese currency, against the USDT. So technically they ban, but we still have people mining in China, and you can see still they use VPN technology to trading back to now. So they can't 100% ban. So it's still the war. Like I think it's still a war with the currency war behind the crypto. So USD, American dollar until now is very strong. You gotta understand your government play well, for my eyes. So even Chinese government play well in my eyes. So these two currency from 2008 till 2020 to 2026, have a look around. Which currency is strong? I said before, even Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. They not you can disagree. You are in Canadian Canada, yeah. So you have a look. I back to the 2020. I think when I sending money to China, they nearly one to one American dollar, 98 cents trading for American dollar. Back to then, 2020, I believe even Canadian dollar, same thing. But now we all dropping 30%, 60 cents around Australian dollar. I'm not sure Canadian dollar. So that for me, if you're looking for the currency war, trading war, American play well. You got to understand, American is play well. This government, I don't know who control behind it. I talked before. It's a bunch of good people. They know the trading, even Wall Street, the money know the money. So these days, I'll give you an example. Like last week, Korean market is dumped, and lots of people losing money. It's a game. It's the big game. So some people tell I believe at the moment they talk about like 1997, the first country is Thailand. The currency is crashed, and everyone think it's okay. But after certain days, I don't know how long, but it's happening. Asian lots of country, Indonesia, Philippines, even Korean, the currency is dumped. And who win? The Wall Street money, they win. But these days, same thing like happening now. So SK, whatever, listing on the Wall Street. And before 2026, I think 2025, when the stock is lower, who buy it? I can't dig too much. American Wall Street money buy a lot. And 2026, this half year, they have lots of propaganda on the media. SK is the best. You know, the memory of the AI. You can't miss it. You can't miss the Nevada. You miss the Nvidia, whatever, you can't miss this. And all the retail, I heard the story, the Korean people buy a lot of this stock. That's the time they sell. So this half year, they sell. Then they list on the Wall Street. So the story, like, I see this story, I'm thinking, and even government, Korean government doesn't protect their people. They give it the leverage, like you can buy double of that. And that's a problem. So Korean, 2020 to 2025, they talk about they make a lot of American dollar profit for Samsung or SK. But these days, these couple weeks, the profit, the money is flow out. The big money is sell, all the retail buy. So 330, I can't figure out of 1.2 billion wallet, the holders is been liquidated, and lots of people I know, young people, they use the marriage money, home loan money, everything money, cars money, buy this stock, and they crashed, and they finish. The question mark is, does it finish yet? Because it's a long story. I can't explain too much here. I'm not professional people, but I think I agree with that. Before that, Korean dollar already weak, 30%. But now the stock is depreciated, devalued 40%. And now they list on Wall Street. Who can buy it? American dollar holder people. They can buy it very cheap, like a 30, 60, more than 50% discount by the big, good company. That is a big game. So I don't know who is the next. They talk about. I'm just keep an eye on it. They said it just start. It's snowball. So maybe we talk about the Japan problem, the India. Already they talk about Indonesia currency is as low as 1997, and the stock market is already down in Asian. So that's why I said, back to my question, state talk before, China currency, because they didn't open up to the system, you can't buy, you can't sell, so they're holding strong there. And American dollar holding strong, good game at the moment. Whatever the war doesn't matter, but they make your dollar strong. And the last thing is AI. You talk about AI, so AI war is still like a cold war, for my understanding. American versus China. So the rest of the country have no power. So they have to choose the side. Otherwise, they will lose benefit of the AI battling. So yeah, that's what I can say something about that at the moment. So very dangerous. And American consumer, I think, is not bad. They're holding World Cup. They make money. Your economy is still strong. American dollar is still strong, and that's the main thing. So yeah, not much I can see, but that's the only thing I can talk now. EAC, I don't know.
Yeah, no, but that
So
makes me even more bullish for the Clarity Act passing, because they want, like, that will make the American dollar so much stronger. And if you already have countries that are buying the American dollar, because I'll look it up on on AI later, but yeah, it probably is the strongest dollar of all the
yeah,
countries. I know it's way stronger than Canadian and Australian, the euro, like the American dollars, like African countries, Latin countries, that's what they're buying and holding, because their currencies like dropping like 30%. So I think as a government, like Democrats and Republicans can agree, like that they both want to make the dollar strong, because that just makes everything better. That I still think it'll pass, man. Because also, why are we getting this little pump right now if it's so bearish that it's not going to pass? So I think it's going to go through.
yeah, you're right. But I heard the news today. Even BitGet, the central platform, the big player, even OKX, they here's a guy from the New York previous Maya to go to their boarding group. Any news show me like they said the Chinese media social, like doesn't matter they pass or not, they can't wait. They will go to American market. They will be come in, because that's the only country, the biggest like we can see is support the so far support crypto, the blockchain. Doesn't matter they pass the law or not, but eventually they will go into there because they want to be dominant in this planet. Like you said, we said the currency. It is behind the currency. It is all things doing any party, part of your American. They know the goal. The goal is keep your country strong. The currency is strong. People still use American dollar, not yen, no Chinese yen, no the other stuff, and you people will be benefit. So think about the other Asian countries. The currency is weak, and how they can buy stuff, buy overseas stuff, they cost more money. But your American people, consumer here, yeah, and they can buy cheaper because your dollar strong. You can import more cheap stuff from the overseas. That make your CPI lower. So that's the solution. They don't need to drop the interest rate. They just keep your American dollar strong. The interest rate will be dropped, and another side, another word, you feel cheaper. That's people will be feel happy. If I'm American people, business owner, I'm pretty happy at the moment. I think I'm happy because these things happening. The war is far from American soil, so doesn't matter. So keep the war. I don't know, hanging around there, maybe benefit for the Trump middle election. I don't know, but the players are playing. So everything is a play out. So far, my conclusion is China versus America will be final battle. And these two countries play well at the moment. They have a summit in September, I think, AI. I think Chinese President Xi will visit American soil on the Trump visit, meet Trump again, talking about AI. I don't know, something, but the news is out already. White House already prepared for September. So that's the two guys there. So one is the public, very central control. One's American. So far, they support decentralized. They support the democracy. So they said they support, but they have to. So that's the main battle. So yeah, so far I think American and China going well, especially with AI. The rest country will be left behind because they don't have money, they don't have power, and they don't have energy. So electric, and technology. So who can win? So yeah.
I don't know. Japan's moving pretty fast in this. They're just past their version of the Clarity Act. So that's why I think I'll be bullish on the Clarity Act this week because of Japan and Russia both for moving their version of the digital Clarity Act. Just my 2 cents there.
Yeah. They, as I said, I don't think they. I don't know it passed or not. It's not very important. This the trend. We can't look backward. That's the only thing I can understand in the blockchain, the crypto. Like I talked to Tex before, the trading volumes here, even Binance over Wall Street. So people like trading. People like gamble. So that's why all the platform going to American, OKX, Binance, everything. So BitGet today they announced as well, and that's the future for human beings. So for the people. So your government is smart, as I said, for one word, very smart. Doesn't matter who
Yeah,
in the
I
front.
see crypto as a universal dollar. It is. I've paid taxes with my. I'm 100% on it. So like Tex knows, I'm small miner. I've just had like a little 50 cent a day gold shell, but I do run it off of renewable energies. As the all these databases are taking the mining or the energy sources from the Bitcoin miners or all the miner processes, and I do think renewables will fill in the void of the mining process. That's what I'm moving towards. So yeah, I'm really hope the Clarity Act passes this week and start looking for your ASIC miners and put one in everybody's house. That's your universal income as well.
Yes, you're right. It is the final goal, but before we get into there, they do hurting the bank system. Like we talk about American, European, Japan, China. Do they really like digital crypto, the decentralized? I don't think so. That's why But American play well. They're hiding there. They one hand grab it, the other hand is stop, slowly pass or not. They will get in there, not like China's strategy ban. So, but they underneath still doing something. They two players play different games. Like China publicly ban, but underneath, I know they're still mining, they're still doing something there. But American openly said we support crypto, but they still slowly because I heard the news, but you guys probably know the stable coin doesn't have the insurance in the like your fiat American dollars. If you lose American dollars, the bank will pay you up to $500,000, $250,000. But digital dollars, not digital, the stable coins, you don't have that benefit. It is dangerous. So they already passed the law in your country, I think. So I don't know. So that's why they will not go into there very quick, lose the control of American dollars. So BTC definitely is the solution for people, for us. But it is a hard way. Like we have to, crypto at the moment have to need them to understand us and let the digital stable coin work for us. And people have to feel safe. Like Herman said, I have the same feeling. I lose something, money, not very safety. So we don't feel safe at the moment. We're just playing, trading, gambling here. So slowly, people understand the stable coin and the digital 24 hours, 7 days, and the low cost, and they have to use it like the AI as future. So that's the way. So American on the way, they not block it. China, by the way, they just pretend to block it. That's the playing. So I don't know. So I just my feeling today. I can't talk too much, guys. So that's it. I don't know text back or not. Yeah.
I don't think Tex is coming back until I tell him, hey, I think we're done with the space. But Sal just is up here now. How's Sal doing?
I heard somebody had a ASIC miner.
I'm
Somebody
running a
said-
gold shell. I'm running a gold shell, little bitty one, 500 watt.
Nice. About
And
what's the monthly cost on your energy? If I
that's what
might
I'm
ask.
running. It's 500 watts, so it's less than my refrigerator actually, and it makes me just
Nice.
50 cents a day. But I'm connecting everything to renewable energies, my solar systems.
Nice.
So that's
Yeah.
my
Nice.
path.
I was just curious. I think I might set one up. I always wanted to set one up, but I didn't know, if it was actually worth it. But now they're talking Bitcoin to 1 million, so that 50 cents might add up to big bucks, bro.
Oh, let
Honestly.
me
And then
clarify. Let me clear. I mine Litecoin and Doge. Litecoin is a cheaper 110 outlet too. That's why it's 500 watts.
Oh, gotcha.
If and it was a $500 miner on Amazon. Now, if I had, I've seen Hong Kong over there, so if I had a direct account in Hong Kong, I could buy the ASIC miners for like a quarter of the cost I'm buying on Amazon by ASIC Marketplace. But I'm not that advanced, so I just go to Amazon and just pay the $500, and in a year's time, I'll make my money back, and everything will be a profit after that.
Awesome. Yeah, I might start dabbling in mining myself. I got solar. I purchased this house with the solar installed already, so it's just a matter of me just running the hardware. But it's at the same time, it's just the heat dissipation. Worrying about like it heating up the house and all this.
Wintertime, it's ideal, like perfect for winter. And I am like suffering right now because I live in Arizona where it's 115 right now, and I just put an air conditioner directly in front of the miner. But I don't know if my house, I could not live here if I had 5 or 6 of these things running right now. I'm planning to make a solar farm of these things out in like Death Valley. So you could pick the most barren, desolate land, cheapest land, and start making things with it. And that's why I'm bullish on this clarity. I'm all in on it.
Nice. Yeah, that's extreme heat. That'd take a lot of cooling.
Or you just tough it out. You just get some thick skin. But no, I have a 10,000 BTU in front of this one miner, and it's compensated pretty good. It's comfortable. I can make it comfortable.
Awesome. Appreciate your you answering my questions, bro.
No worries. If you have any more questions, I'd love to answer them. Like I do believe I might try to make a project where you just make one of these things a backpack, just a little hiker running around making 50 cents a day. I don't know how much weight the Starlink system is, but we just put it all in a little backpack and miner and walk around, make money, man. I mean, it's going to be that. I could see where these rich people, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, are talking about universal incomes are flourishing as where it could happen. If I was a young person, I wouldn't be thinking of buying my first car right now or my first phone. I would be thinking of buying ASIC miners and having mom and dad pay for my power while I make more money than them eventually. Or it pays for your college tuition or for the car or whatever. But your first purchases in life should be probably ASIC miners and then learning how to repair ASIC miners. That's going to be a huge industry.
You know what else you could do? Dig just dig real deep into the ground. I don't know how deep. I mean, you really don't have to technically go down that deep. Apparently, if you go 6 feet or whatever, ground is pretty much like 55 degrees permanently, even in the desert heat.
And run the miners underground.
Run them underground, or at least you can get some sort of like cooling system that can just bring the air through. Obviously, through some, it has to go through enough tubing to actually cool it down. But yeah, because and obviously it's not going to work if you're in certain locations. So, like you have to take into account the water table and all of that stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the water table's down pretty deep in Arizona and the desert. So, you probably wouldn't have to worry too much. But yeah,
And as long as you're not living in living where in the miners are, you don't really need to worry about cooling them. You could have it like almost, it's Arizona, so it's very dry. I could almost make it like an open air system. I'm actually probably going to try to beat the regulations by just getting them in RVs and vans and just convert like RVs into solar mines, where you put the solar panels on top of them, put them at a 30-degree angle, 40-degree angle, always facing south, and then get your inverters and all your ASIC miners in there, run your right gauge wire, and that way you beat the regulations. Permits and having people check your shit just bothers me. I don't know. My
couldn't
shit works.
couldn't
My stuff works. I don't know. It bothers me.
couldn't you just do like a container, like a shipping container?
Containers would be a good idea too. I've thought about that. That's like $4,000, and you could have a 12-foot by 40-foot space to contain everything. That would be a good way to go about it too. I've thought about that for briefly, but yeah, that is a good idea.
I mean, that might be. I mean, I don't know how much RVs go for, and obviously, you're not going to be like, "Oh, let me get the top of the line RV." You're just going to be like, "Hey, I just need to roll it onto my land and call it a day." But
It'd be honestly, the containers might be actually cheaper and easier because you just drop it and then just start modifying, and you don't really need the permits for that.
true. I mean, that's kind of why I brought it up. But again, I just like, dude, I drove by this one RV, dude. It's on some land. I look at it, and I'm just like, looks like the biggest dump. Like I don't think getting it to move as if you tow it, and but I couldn't imagine it being very expensive. But yeah, I figured a container would probably be better.
It's for
But
cosmetics. I think professionally, you're right. Professionally, container will look better for a solar farm. You're absolutely. You probably just convinced me, Hermit. I like it. I do like it.
solid.
But I'm waiting for the Clarity Act to pop, and I have some liquid to go and buy those RWAs because I got a year's wage wasting in it right now in a bear market. But a bear market's, you see blood in the streets, you buy. That's always the story they say. So I'm sticking with it this year. That's one thing I'm doing. Music.
Nice. Oh, and that's sometimes that's what people don't do is it's just, for me in airdrop farming, it's just like, all right, I got to make sure every day that I'm clicking the buttons that I need to click to maximize what I can get out of an airdrop or whatever. Same thing goes with crypto. It's just like my EAC, I think it was the EAC earlier said earlier that he was just like, I'm kind of just waiting because right now it's kind of like it's in a neutral zone type of deal. So it's like
Even Queen said it best in the in that movie. I'm good for the game. It's just a wait. While they're in the middle of the depression playing the poker game.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a perfect line. I love that line. It's I could beat them in the game anytime. It's just a wait in between.
Exactly. But yeah, it's we're in that neutral area where there's like bullish on the timeline, but it's not necessarily like, okay, I'm super excited. I'm not super excited for it. I'd rather see it go down more so I can accumulate more. But is it one of those things where it's like, okay, are we at the bottom and now we're just going to start curling back up until we get to until it's the full bull run, or is this kind of one of those traps? I mean, I'm inclined to think I think it might be more of a trap than it is anything else, but I think Bitcoin's
If it doesn't get signed this week, it's a trap.
yeah,
You just start stacking. Then that's your next. We're at the Y right now of this crossroads. And if it passes in a bull run, and if it doesn't, I'm buying more. That's as simple as it gets.
exactly.
And in the process, I'm hoping I could maybe even take a loan out for the land so I could build the farm. My whole life is revolved around crypto at this point. I'm glad I
Yeah.
learned my solar to adapt it to it, and now I'm able to adapt my skills that I spent a lot of time learning.
Yes, Nick, I heard you want to buy some RWA if they pass this act, corrective act. Which RWA you recommended? The stock?
Which what?
You like the RWA, the real
Real world assets,
do you want buy?
RWA.
You talk about it's like which kind of the RWA? The stock?
No, like land, the real world.
Oh, okay, I got you.
RWA in my mind is a real world asset. So you take your digital assets when they pop, and you go buy like a laundromat or what you call it, car wash, where you have a liquid business from your digital assets.
Yeah, that's why I want to just tap in. Say, want to just let my idea is don't buy any stock at the moment. Don't buy any Wall Street. My recommendation, they all liquidated us. We are the retail. They are the dumping on our head. Anything IPO at the moment, they will be dumped. Believe me, I worry you buy stock. Don't buy stock. Just do the mining, BTC accumulate. You'll be win big. That's the only thing we can do. A small player. Don't follow the don't follow the trend. Don't follow the trend. Even you mean the land, I don't know, American land, maybe okay. Even the property, don't buy any property. We can see the Asian property will be crashed. Believe me, Korean, Japan, China, no people, no young babies. That's all AI now. They need AI partner, AI lovers. So what happening? People no marriage, no birthday, no birth. So what these apartment, the big building, it will be empty at the day. Only the robots, they don't need a building, they don't need a home. So don't buy property, don't buy stock, just buy BTC as low as you can. You can keep it, we'll be all right. So I miss you. I saw you buy RWA stock. No, don't buy it. I know they push it on the finance. Nothing for me.
Ming, what about Airbnb?
Airbnb,
You buy it, you buy it and you Airbnb it, bro. Because the way you're speaking, it's almost like people just want this like life in like a streaming life fashion, right? Like streaming experience.
yeah.
So they're going to be just paying for travel necessities, maybe jumping around because people can't stay still. I know what you're saying. They don't want to raise families no more. They don't want to
I'm waiting for SpaceX to hit $90. I mean, when I see SpaceX hit $90, I'm jumping back in on that.
But SpaceX at $90, you think is cheaper?
better than 135 or 200 that we just seen. It's at 120 right now.
They can be even lower. Today, I see the news. They have a bigger, how to say, as August until this August, they have 5 times the stocks will be released for the previous holders, 10 times or 5 times. What do you think?
Over the years, this is what I've learned with Wall Street. August is their summer break. This is when Wall Street will come out, and this is where I am confused, y'all. Maybe you could clarify this on me. August is when the Wall Street takes the break. I wish Tex was here for this question. So that's when everybody on Wall Street is going to go to their Hamptons and all of their vacation homes in Lake Tahoe. Then they'll come back and they'll run up another rally in October. And then there's always another dump in December just before the holidays when everybody has to buy their mistresses and their girlfriends a new car and all kinds of other stupid shit underneath the Christmas tree. Do we want to hold, say it passes to tomorrow, there's only going to, technically under that rule, there's only going to be a 1 week run up. But knowing that AI is taking over, and I know that AI crypto is going to be artificial intelligence money, that's going to make it unpredictable, or more of a predictable market once you learn the stages, but it's unpredictable at this moment. Correct?
What makes you feel AI will take over though if it's getting cheaper?
Well, that's that's, artificial has to have, they can't move your money from your bank account. So they have to use a cryptocurrency, a Bitcoin or something for it to confirm confirmation of account transfers. Whenever some boss, some CEO that's fired all of his Apple employees, and now he just has his 12 agents moving his money and buying his products, he's going to need to be using crypto as the currency to be buying the material for his business for the robots to be running it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, this whole big market share that the AI is experiencing now, it's high demand now, but it's loosening up on cost, because China just dropped their Kimi K3, and that's the credits are like fucking cheap compared to like Claude and Chat. um, Businesses are gonna naturally just opt for the cheaper tech, and
Yes,
it
but
doesn't
it's still
matter
going to need to
if
use crypto for for the agents to be moving
right,
money for the products that the companies use.
right. No, yeah, we're both speaking the same, because I believe too. Like, I don't think AI is going to take away from the crypto sector at all. I think money will rotate back into crypto because AI is getting cheaper. I'm not taking away from cryptocurrency. I'm just adding to the fact that crypto's cost, I mean, like AI's cost is coming down. I think it's just going to keep getting cheaper
There is
because
a catalyst coming for in crypto's favor from AI. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, we're speaking the same tones. I'm bullish too. I'm bullish. I'm bullish on the use of AI. I'm bullish on crypto because it's about to blow. It's plain and simple. Ain't gonna be no stopping it. It's just a matter of how do we control and continue to make this a safe place for gains, for the little guys. That's just what it's about. How do we structure that and keep it away from too much restriction and regulation. You know, that's the
Yeah,
battle though in my eyes, because they're going to control the off and on ramps. Of course, all on the off and on ramps. It's just a matter of them staying out of, like, the meme and NFT space. You know what I'm saying? Because this is kind of like our little safe space now. Because I mean, you have layer ones that'll give you good multiples, but nothing like starting up your own community and, like, using the funds and liquidity to actually implement changes within central structure. They could see that as a threat, because people could actually get behind a community and do like very, very monumental shifts in structure with the liquidity. And they want to control all aspects. They don't want us to make these type of power moves in unison. So I just hope that they don't limit deployment as much. I mean, there should be a fine line, about deploying a project, but I just feel like they're coming for it all, bro. You know what I'm saying? And there's only a certain window of opportunity to really capitalize on these on this day and age, you know, where we're at the ground floor, we're able to launch projects in our mom and dad's basement and do all this crazy ass shit to each other. But we need to structure it to where they don't take that away from us too. You know, and that's just my fear.
You're
You know
talking
what I'm saying?
like that we could be that big though, but that's the structure of the stock market, is that they already do control the companies that are worth billions and trillions. There's no crypto company that's decentralized that started off a meme coin that's worth trillions, like that can go to a stock IPO and have real world businesses. So they're already controlling the real money, man, and we're just playing in a little space, and they're coming
So
in. They don't care about
you
us,
don't
man.
think
We're
right,
small
right.
time. They want to make sure that we can't like start like companies and sell stock to the companies, because that's the system that they built and owned. Like then they'll come in and they'll arrest us, you know. So they just worry about like the real money, bro. The real companies, like Google stock that's on chain, not, you know, Pepe.
Yeah, I hear you. And even when we make a meme blow that big up until Pepe status, they try to, you know, tap into that as well with the ETFs and all that. So they kind of benefit at the top, you know, to a certain extent. When consensus rallies behind a product, they treat it as an institution, you know. So which is pretty cool, you know. And it almost gives me hope that they'll allow this space to operate, continue to operate, you know, because it is a very awesome and constructive space, man. I just fear the Clarity Act may implement a lot of restrictions that'll prevent us from doing these type of things, you know. That's just my worry, man. That's I
Well,
always I
no,
always try
like
to.
what, but this is how I see it playing out. Like they can't shut down decentralization because like we're here and we built systems that can't be shut down. That's the whole thing. But what they can do is they'll start buying up DeFi. Like Coinbase will buy a decentralized Binance. They'll buy decentralized exchanges, and then they'll control those. But I mean, we'll know. But I mean, that's how money rules. They'll just buy whatever they want. Look at Elon. He buys his influence. He buys his app. And how do you stop that guy? If he wants something, he'll just buy it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. I feel you though, EAC. You have a good perspective on things, you know. But yeah, what's up, DP? I don't know if you want to chime in. I know Tex is hanging out with his buddy, eating brisket right now. I don't know if Hermit wants to keep this space open. If any other speakers want to come up and say what's up, and
I might shut it down because we're getting to that point. I'm pretty tired, but yeah. I mean, I don't know if anybody else. We can go do closing statements if anybody's got them.
Patience. I know you like to chime in a bit.
I was just gonna say real quick when you guys were talking about like buying real estate a few minutes ago and buying Bitcoin and what Ming was talking about and how you know, as time has gone on, their ability to move money has gotten faster, and their ability or they've allowed us to move it slower. If that makes sense. Like they don't like crypto because of the speed of it too. For us, you know, like they. I remember when I was listening to ICT a lot, and he was talking about how he was trading in the 90s and stuff like that, in the 80s even, where he would have to like call his broker. You know, you'd read about the charts or hear about the charts, you know, or if you had access to the internet, you'd, you know, look at it on a public computer or whatever, you know, or your own computer. But it was very rudimentary, and you know, you had to call your broker. They had to verify it was you. The whole time this is going on, the market's moving. You had to call your broker, verify it was you, put in your account, tell them your account number, make sure obviously there's money in it that you had to wire in, you know, a couple weeks before or a week before or whatever, and you had to have the minimums, you know, and then, you know, they made it very gated and restricted, and then you got to tell them, hey, I want to buy 2 contracts of this or 2 lots of that or 2 stock, whatever it is, you know, and then they put your order in, they send the order down to the trading floor confirms it, sends it back to, you know, I mean, it takes like 15-20 minutes just to put your trade in, you know, candlesticks have been printed, market has moved since then. And now, right, but and the barrier to entry was $10,000 to $25,000, you know, $10,000 to $25,000, you know, not just anybody could go to Chicago or Wall Street or wherever and start trading. And so now anybody can, right? And so what you were saying, Honk, about like kind of a little bit of a strictness on meme coin launching or just project launching in general is I agree with that, and it's like anybody can do it. And the reason they're letting it happen and why Forex and all that stuff kind of blew up in the last 10-15 years or whatever is because they realize we're all going to throw our money at it. Why do you think there's gambling platforms all over? You know what I mean? You can bet on anything because they want us to just throw our money at stuff. So that's all I was going to throw in there is keep investing in the stuff that matters to you, and keep your money in your communities and all that stuff. So yeah, awesome space. I'm glad I caught the tail end of it.
Solid take. Anybody else? Any other closing statements?
I'll close up. Yeah, I think like regulation will be good because I mean, if the reason that they have the stock market and it's protected is because there was people selling, like they were scamming people. They were selling stocks to companies that didn't exist and selling stocks that don't exist. So the regulation is going to be a good thing. I'm bullish that the Clarity Act's going to pass, whether it passes this month or it passes in 3 years. It's whatever. Crypto is the future, moving money faster, digital dollars on chain. And yeah, I'll see you all next week. Thanks for hosting the space. It's recorded if you missed the first part of it and want to see what got said. Go to my Rumble, EAC NFT, and you can listen to the space. But hope to see you all next week for designated DEGENS. Tex, I hope you enjoy your brisket, bro.
I think we got Moon on the stage with his hand up.
I think Moon wanted to say something. Yeah.
All right. You guys are cooking there at the end. I actually love EAC's take also to kind of really bring in the reality and like the experience take of like the fact that these TradFi dudes are trying to get 99% of the profits, 99% of the supply, dump on your heads, run it back 100 times. But look, also, I've been on ramping I've been farming some cash dollar bills, IRL, with the whole like, elbow grease and the work, and the normal stuff. But look, so the money's been coming on ramp to crypto. What's interesting is fucking these crypto apps are starting to like not let me use my like the easy stuff like the Apple Pays and the debit cards as much. They're like cutting me off at like limits and shit. And then I call fucking JP Morgan and this guy's like, "Oh, sir, it's because the market is very uncertain and no, like literally told me that because the market's uncertain." But then he's like, "But you can actually do a deposit, like a bank deposit." I'm like, "So is the market uncertain or is it not uncertain? Because you guys let me do the bank deposit, but y'all won't let me onboard money quickly," which 9 times out of 10 on something like Moonshot, Phantom, anything like that. Like if you're shilling a meme coin to a normie, you need them to onboard that liquidity fucking now.